Hi, Layla. We are actually going to make some baguettes.
I thought you said we were making bread.
Baguettes are French bread. Yeah. Let's get back to this recipe, French baguettes, which is bread, but from France. We need 900 grams of flour. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my bowl on my scale. I'm gonna turn my scale on and I'm gonna measure not in ounces, but in grams, which is gonna be a lot of flour. You're kind of short, so let me do this first.
See, I'm
all right, watch the scale. Tell me when I get to 900. 900. Ah, yay, 900.
Exactly 900.
Exactly 900. Okay, so now that we're at 900 grams, 2 teaspoons of salt. All right, so.
Salt time.
Okay, so here's the thing. When you put 2 teaspoons of salt, what you want to do is, here, throw it in. 1, 2. Okay, now, you never want to mix the yeast with salt. So you take the handle of the wooden spoon and you're going to gently move it around by holding the bowl. Hold the bowl with one hand and mix it up. So we don't want the salt to touch with the yeast. All right?
How do we make sure it doesn't touch with the
Well, once it incorporates with the flour, you're good. So now it's kind of like blended in, so we're good. Now we need 3/4 teaspoons of yeast, and this is, I'm using active yeast. This is what's gonna make the baguettes rise, okay? So 3/4 math. 1/4, how many of these do I need?
3 of them.
3 of them. Okay, hold on. Let me just do this. 1,
It looks like little, tiny little marbles.
2. Okay, now that's 3. So 3/4 teaspoon of active yeast. So what happens is we mix them in, and then we're gonna pour our 730 milliliters of water into the bowl. Okay, so what we wanna do is we wanna mix. Okay, you can try for a bit. Go ahead. Slowly, hold the bowl.
Looks like, what is it? It looks like porridge.
Okay, so
It does.
everything. I don't want any dough sitting on the bottom of my bowl. And you get a nice clean wooden handle spoon. Cover. You want it to stay sealed. I like, because I'm gonna leave it in a warm spot, I like to leave it either on my counter here or on the stove where, of course, the stove is off. And I like to cover it with a clean kitchen towel and let it sit. The longer it stays, the better, because it's gonna get big and fluffy and filled with bubbly holes in it. Guys, so back in my kitchen, we were making some baguettes. We let it sit overnight. See all the wonderful bubbles that it have in it, and it rise. Then we're gonna take my pan, my pizza pan that I have here, fill it with flour, lots of flour, because we wanna pour the dough right onto the flour. We don't wanna smush the dough. We wanna just gently scrape around like this, all the way around, and just let it fall right out. All these beautiful air pockets is what's going to give the baguettes that beautiful holes inside of them when they bake. And voila. So here we go. Again, lots of flour all over, because now I'm going to pretty much cut it in 4, because this is pretty big. This makes 4 breads. Normally, you know, just use my knife, just gently cut it apart in 4 pieces. You want to get your baking, I'm using a baking rack. I put parchment paper, so I'm gently lifting this. I always like to get dough on my hand, flour. Move it apart, take my baguette, just pull it out. Okay, these are the middle ones are usually my biggest ones. So beautiful.
Beautiful row of baguettes.
That's my camera guy, camera girl.
Yum!
Okay, so here we go. They're all ready. I'm gonna give it a minute for my oven to just get hot. It's at 455. Notice I don't have to do anything else. Once you put it on here, you're gonna transfer it to the oven. You're gonna bake it for 25 minutes, and then your baguettes are gonna be done. Hi guys. So 25 minutes later.
We tossed them in the oven already.
Look at these beautiful baguettes. So gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Oh, they smell so good.
You're gonna let them cool for a couple of minutes. With my kids at home, they usually like to rip this apart and put some butter on it.
Butter.
And eat this. So freshly baked baguettes, 25 minutes baking time, less than 10 minutes of prep time, which includes mixing your flour. All right, so see you guys another time. I hope you try this recipe. Have a great day.
It's really good.
Bye.
Bye.